why this was, and I was told a very interesting thing, which is that ama-light workers, izangoma ezisebenza ekukhanyeni, need to be awake during witching hour. La khona abathakathi bayenza imkhuba. So thina lesi sikhathi ubuphela ubuthongo kumele vele ubukhuleka uphahla. Uphahla doing what we call constructive interference. Si blocker through the electromagnetic frequencies. Si block ubuthakathi that is being sent across the world. Ukethakatha abantu. Bona bayathumela thina siyabe sishaya intercept. Emoyeni. Spiritual warfare, guys. Injalo. This is real spiritual warfare. So, yeah. So, I'm just so glad to see even a few people here. Oh, when are you selling? How? I don't worry. All of it is very important. And it yonke into vele is critical, right? So, royals, nginbiza royals manginapha ngoba phela thina sonke sinje singamakhosi namakhosikazi ngoba the black person is the first person on this planet and therefore the oldest, and we were created. We were not born. Everyone else who comes after us was born by us. Tina, we were created. There's a big difference there. You can go and do your research to find out what the difference is. So yeah, it's good to be here with you guys. Sabona Tanda, your necklace, Siabong. If you are in South Africa, great empire of Kemet, every Sunday they have a marketplace, who makes these and sells them. They are absolutely beautiful. This is a copper one. I have one in brass. It looks like gold. So yeah, very, very, very useful. So naindaba, guys. Do you remember when we went to I'm not good at working and talking at the same time, but now that I have enough of you here, I think I can actually put this away. So September 22nd. Who remembers what happened September 22nd, 2023? The great empire of Kemet, as per usual, that time of year, every year, probably for the last 4 or 5 years, has been going to Enzalo Yelanga to do a pilgrimage and to celebrate the African New Year, which is September the 23rd on the African calendar. And we go to the oldest stone calendar in the world. It's over 70,000 years old, which is Inzalo Yelanga. And Bab Credo used to call, the real name is Umi Sagi. That is the real name for that stone structure. Why is that stone structure there? Well, there are many reasons, but one of the main ones is it sits on what is called an energy vortex, meaning that there is a very high concentration of an electromagnetic frequency that allows Tina, abantu who go there, to actually align with that energy, and you can heal the cells in your body. So anywhere in your body where maybe your DNA is breaking down, which is this is really usually the precursor for diseases like cancer and so on. You can go uyenyathela in that place barefoot, and this electromagnetic frequency can heal you from head to toe. That structure, that calendar, has its own story of how it was constructed, and Umkulu talks about it a lot. You guys can go on the YouTube and listen. But what I wanted to share with you is that this year, 2023, as we were preparing to go Enzalo, we got a message that somebody had reported that we were going there. Not that we were ever sneaking there. We just didn't ask for permission because we didn't think it was important for us to get permission to go and do our cultural practice in our own country, that we needed to ask for permission. It's like saying Izangoma must ask for permission to go and use rivers to cleanse, or that Zangoma must ask for permission to go ehlathini ukuyophahla, or Zangomas must ask for permission to go up mountains to pray. Do you see what I'm saying? So for Tina, it was a no-brainer. We weren't asking permission to go and do our cultural practice, which our ancestors were doing for centuries before us. Why is this important for us, you ask? Because we are the people who are trying to heal ourselves and to reconnect with who we were before we were colonized. This is very important. Umuntu omnyama ulimele, royals. We are a wounded people. Everything about us is wounded. Back to pre-colonial history. Find out what okhokho nabokhokokazi were doing so that they had life, so that they had abundance. If you look at these structures that are actually all over the world, because umuntu omnyama was all over the world, we populated the whole world before umlungu and everybody else showed up. Please understand this. That's why you see pyramids in America. You see pyramids in South America, in Belize. You see pyramids in Sedona, here in the US, is another energy vortex. And Okoko would build these amazing structures at places where there was a high electromagnetic frequency. And it was usually where a line of latitude and a line of longitude crossed. These imaginary lines across the world called ley lines, which measure a certain energy. When they crossed is where you have this powerful energy vortex, right? So now, here we are, we're getting ready to go. Message comes through that we do not have a permit from the Department of Forestry, and therefore we cannot go. So we thought, well, we're going. So we literally wrote a press statement to tell the world that we were being told that we couldn't go to practice our spirituality, to go and do pilgrimage to our ancestors, to celebrate our African New Year in our land, at a structure that was constructed by our ancestors for the very purpose we wanted to go and use it. We put that out onto Twitter. We went. We actually went a day before. We went on the 21st. We got there, the gate was locked, but we had found a way, and GEK people had found an alternative way to get up onto the hill where the stone calendar is. So we took that way. We went in. The main gate was closed. In the morning, we got a message that there were police at the main gate, which was locked, and they were blocking people from going in. So a group of us with Umkhulu Nsingiza, we got into cars and we drove all the way around down to the bottom to the gate. When we got there, guys, you should have seen the mess. I don't know how many police cars were there. They literally look like they had come to put out a riot. They had come and they were armed. And of course, we are not armed. We are spiritual people. We are armed by Umoya. We don't fight our battles in the physical. We fight our battles in the spirit. So we get there. Here are all these police. The department is there. And they're saying, there is an interdict that you cannot go there as GEK because you didn't fill in the necessary paperwork to get permission. So Mkule explained and said, we didn't fill in any paperwork. Number one, why should we be filling in paperwork to go and do something that is very natural and normal for us as Bagwantu in a place that is ours, in our land? Number one. Number two, the paperwork under the Department of Forestry, even if we had filled it in, they were going to deny us because some of the things that we had to agree to, we couldn't agree to because our cultural practice demanded certain things. Number one, that there was going to be a fire. Tell me what spiritual ceremony or umgidi or some such thing, umlindelo, happens on the African continent without fire. We were going to be up all night. It was cold up there. How do you hold such a ceremony without fire? So number one, we weren't going to be allowed to put a fire on. Number two, we couldn't sleep up there. So what was the point, right? They say we can't sleep up there, but where were we supposed to sleep? On the road? The third one was no cars up there. Okay, so fine, no cars up there. How are we supposed to get up? Because to go up to the actual calendar from the main road is 5 kilometers. So we were supposed to park cars by the roadside. Mind you, the calendar sits in a place that is surrounded by pine trees, sappies, that paper company. They have forests there. So basically, these laws were put in 1994 very quickly in place as a way to hinder and prevent Black people from accessing that site because of this forest. So basically, the laws were protecting white interests over the spiritual and cultural welfare of abantu. So we fought, we stayed, we said we're not going anywhere because we are going, and when our time comes, which was 6 p.m., we are going up there. I think they realized that this group of people were somewhat different because right there, while we waited for hours and this back and forth was going on, I think it was the deputy minister under which this department falls, she was called, things started moving, and while all these communications were happening, guess what we were doing? Besphahla. We were singing, we were phahlaring. Hey, amadlozi amanye waphuma, wakhuluma inkulumo. Hey, abantu bafakwa iziqalekiso. It was lit. There were probably about 60 police officers standing to the side watching this. You should have seen these people when we first came, they were very aggressive. I remember I was taking a video and somebody's like, hey, don't film me. And I'm like, I have rights to film you if I want to. But they were very aggressive. By the time they observed and saw what was going on, many of them were hanging their heads in shame. Because many of them realized, and we said it to them, that for once, can you as Abantu protect our interest as Abantu? We are not going up there to phahla for our own selves personally. We are literally going to do a collective umphahlo for the liberation of Black people. We are going to do umphahlo so that Black people can get their wealth back, their land back, can get reparations. All our artifacts that were stolen by Abelumbi and they were put in museums, we were praying for those things to come back. So it wasn't us there on an individual mission, no. We were there as a collective for Abantu. Abantu across the globe, not Abantu in Africa, not Abantu in South Africa or Malawi, as Abantu bonke who have suffered under the yoke of whiteness. This is what we were going to do. And we looked at them and we said, and you, to protect white interests, are blocking us from going in there. You brought your police cars. What, you want to arrest us? For what? What is our offense actually? When you go to book us, what do you put on the paper? They are arrested for trespassing. Trespassing where? In whose land? Who owns this place? So it was a very charged and emotional. And guys, I want to tell you, emotionally, it was very painful for all of us. You don't understand what it feels like. And I had come from the States specifically to go there. There were people who had traveled from different parts of the world to do this pilgrimage. And we are all standing there in disbelief that this is happening on the African continent. Eventually, we were allowed to go in. As many of you saw, we were tweeting about it and sharing, updating you guys. When we got up there, we did our thing, we finished and we left. But what then came out of that was we needed a long-term solution. So that once and for all, sikhulule inzalo out of the hands of people, first and foremost, who did not even know the cultural aspect of this place. Department of Forestry was concerned about the forests there. Abelungu put down some stupid thing about the blue swallow birds, that they're an endangered species, and our going there, because they were endangered species, they would become extinct. Guys, can you imagine the craziness? We go there for 2 days and we leave, and those birds are going to become extinct because of us. The reason why the birds were an endangered species is because of the forest, those eucalyptus trees that white people put there. These birds require that grass that is on the ground. They don't actually nest in trees. They nest in the grass. They build their nests in the grass. Those pine trees, again, which are not natural and not indigenous to that environment, is why those birds became extinct. And this is according to research that was done by other white people. So when we came back, I pulled up all these documents. We went it was the Department of Culture, because we really felt that this site needs to be freed and put under the Department of Culture, because then our needs could be accommodated under that ministry. You see, red tape. Well, we've done that application. We did that. Now we are here. Mkhulu Nsingiza on the 25th of November is asked to attend a meeting with who? The Department of Forestry. Not the other one, the culture. Forestry. They go there, and guess what? There were a couple of lawyers I hear. And according to what is written in the law, the cultural aspect of Inzalo was actually there in the law. It's just that nobody knew it. So, full rights to go to Inzalo, to practice and do our pilgrimage, to sing and dance all night, to welcome Umvelingangi, the sun, on the 23rd as he comes up on the horizon. And guess what? We are going to be provided with things that we actually hadn't asked for. They are going to make sure that there is a demarcation so that cars can go up and be parked. They are going to create a fireplace, iziko, for us so that we can have a fire. They are going to, now, remember, we're not allowed to camp up there. We camped, but we're not allowed. They're going to allocate an area where people can now bring their tents, or we can have the company that we had this year come and set up tents, so that people who want to lie down or whatever can go and do that. So now it will run from the 21st to the 23rd. The 21st to the 22nd, there are tents. People can sleep over there, wake up, we fellowship together, get to know one another, because the main reason we are doing this is to create Black unity outside religion and politics. Black unity around culture, around our identity as Abantu. Outside religion, because religion came with white people. It's a colonial construct that continues to oppress us. Outside politics, because it's a system that came nabelumbi. And if you look around you across the continent, these so-called republics, this political system isn't working for Tina, Abantu. It serves the interest of who? Abelumbi. And who are the gatekeepers and managers of this sick system? Umuntu. Imidlwembe. Kahle kahle. So now we are able to go. We are free from the 21st to the 23rd. Those days are GEK's pilgrimage days. Anyone interested in attending, you go through GEK. Why are we doing this? So that we do not end up messing up the place and then shooting ourselves in the foot. So anyone who goes there on those days is under us, and therefore has to come through the right channels so that we make sure that we account for everything that goes on there. The other thing is, guys, we then found out that there was actually a group of people who orchestrated all this in an attempt to prevent GEK from ever holding this pilgrimage in Zalo. Do you see how deep this is? And to think that there are people, abafana nan, black people, who are quite happy to destroy a movement, the only movement right now anywhere in the world that actually stands for the interests, the real and authentic interests of umuntu omnyama. Name me another movement right now across the globe, and don't say Pan-African movements, because Pan-Africanism is already adulterated. Because Pan-Africanism is predicated on these republics, and we know they don't work. Which other movement is calling for unity of black people outside religion and politics? Which other movement is calling for the unity of black people around our ancient spirituality? Our forefathers were doing these things for centuries before Umlungu, first the Arabs and then Umlungu came. So this is what we are trying to do, and you have fellow Abantu trying to destroy this. Because why? Umona, jealousy, greed. And that horrible thing that we have as Abantu is a disease that we need to get rid of, that says, why that person is doing this and not me? Why? Why? This movement is for everybody. We don't have a membership fee. You don't sign any dotted line to be part of GK. Why? Because if you say you're part of GK, you're part of GK. We don't take membership fees at GK. That's why no one is making money out of this movement at GK. Because it's a genuine movement for Umuntu. And because we speak the truth, we walk the truth, we live the truth, we don't get any funding from anywhere. GK is literally run by the members of GK, all of us chipping in where we can to make things happen. We cannot write for grants, government grants, whatever grants, because we're always criticizing the government. They don't give us anything. They're not going to give us anything. So we rely on private donations and the goodwill of Abantu who see the need for this movement. And then comes along some evil umdlembe and decides, nah, I'm going to destroy this. We have evidence that there were people who literally orchestrated this. People who look like you and me. That is one of the greatest sadnesses about being in this movement. And this is one of the signs that show us how wounded we are as a people. That for your own self-interests, because of your own hard-heartedness, your ego and umona, you're prepared to destroy something that serves millions possibly of people for your own personal gain. Do you know what other creature on this planet is like that? Umlungu. So when we talk about people who are mentally enslaved, that is the kind of person we talk about, because they have adopted, like they are colonized to the DNA at that time. And they don't see the damage that they do with those things that they are doing. They don't care. Like Umlungu, they have no conscience. Umlungu has no conscience. It's a creature that was created without conscience. Abantu abamnyama have lost Ubuntu who do those kind of things. But I'm not here to preach. I just wanted to come on and share this amazing good news to you guys, because many of you, and I want to say a deep thank you for many of you who supported us from wherever you were, whether you were seeing the tweets or the TikToks from your house, you're registering your anger, you registering your distress. You guys don't understand how energy works. That was enough to add to what we were going through and to shift this. So, on the 25th, Inzalo was freed. Our space, Baba Credo, wherever he is, he must be dancing. because he died and that was one of his biggest wishes. So, on that note, look at the season in which it is happening, guys. We are in the season of Jehuti Umlomogazi Moeli. Umlomogazi is the mouthpiece of Ura. We actually thought that whatever was going to happen, we were just partnering that it happened before next September. We really had no thought or idea that it would happen so soon. But look where we are. Why? Umoya. And guess which season this news came? It came through the communicator, Umlomogazi, Ujehuti, to tell us that sokulungile. Now, for those who live by the calendar, you can't make this stuff up, guys. This is real. This is what we at GK call heka. Is when things align so beautifully that Umoya responds at the right time, using the right messenger, in the right place, in the right way. Jehuti. As we entered, Jehuti was November 23rd. We got into Jehuti 25th. This message was delivered to us. How beautiful is that? So I wanted to come and thank you guys. Thank you for your beautiful hearts. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for just having goodwill and just desiring this freedom for Black people goes a long way. Siyabonga. We don't take it for granted whatsoever. And we're hoping that we will see you at the next New Year's celebration, because it will be a real celebration. In December 21 to the 22nd to the 23rd, like I said earlier, that is the lotus ceremony, izibu. If you miss, you miss, because we are in deep gratitude to Umoya for always showing up for us. We don't need guns to fight this battle, guys. We don't. We just need to align with nature, to align with these energies and principles, and there is absolutely nothing that we cannot achieve. We got Inzalo in a way that we weren't even expecting. We had no expectation, because we just knew that whatever happens, we need to pasha that we don't go through the same stuff the following year. And Umoya just intervened at the right time, in the right way, a way we didn't even expect. So there's lots of joy, Ekaya. There's lots of hope, of joy and real awe and gratitude. So if you can join the crew that's going to Polokwane for the Izibu ceremony, please join. It's going to be lit. Like, people will be singing and dancing like you've never seen. You're going to see people lifting off the ground. That's how happy everybody is right now, because Umoya has shown us that we're not alone. And Umoya has shown us that by living in authenticity and deep honesty with self, and with deep love for one another, and desiring freedom, not just for ourselves personally, but for everybody. When we come together, that's why Umlung always wants to separate Black people. Do you know why? For the simple reason that they know how powerful we are when we come together. If there's one creature on this planet who knows the power of Black unity, is Umlumbi. That's why divide and conquer. They're always trying to divide us. If they're not dividing us along ethnic lines, Umxhosa, Umzulu, Umwan, and these myths that they spread, AmaZulu, namaXhosa, abathandani, AmaZulu, they are violent, AbeSuthu bayatshontsha, amaKwerekwere from Zimbabwe, they are messing up the country, amaNigeria. Listen, underneath all of this is the divide and conquer that was started by Umlungu. And if we in ourselves can start to self-correct every time you start to think negative things about your brother. That's not to say that people aren't doing wrong. Please don't go around saying, well, go gute. People are doing wrong, but it's people across culture, across language, across whatever. And that is the thing that we can call out. But when you start making it about different ethnicities, you defeat the very thing that we're trying to do, which is to unite us. Correct your brothers and sisters when they do wrong. I must bashayeni man babhaqa besenza into engalunganga. But ungalingi wena wambheka umuntu wathi uyenza lento ngoba ngumNigeria or lento uyenza ngoba ungumSuthu or uphume eZimbabwe. Once you do that, you have defeated the purpose for which this movement is working so hard, which is to bring unity. We must always be our brothers, our sisters' keeper, because kahle black people, we have no friends. We have no friends. Nobody on this planet uthanda umuntu. And that is because of our greatness that they know that we, most of us, aren't even aware of. That's why sibavumela ukuthi begibele phe kwamakhanda ethu, because we don't know fully who we are. Once you're fully aligned and know who you are, there is no way a white person can talk to you anyhow. Umoya will not allow it. Your spirit will refuse. Why? Because you now know who you are relative to umlungu or umndiya or umchina. Angilibele ngimfaka incindi once mayizongidelela. That is what comes up once you know who you are. Once you know ukuthi umlungu nimsabelana umlungu. Why are you scared? Why are you scared of those creatures? They're the weakest creatures on the planet, you guys. Niyabesaba, nisaba izibhamu. Ibhamu zigcwele kwamasho, amane ethatha izibhamu. Once omtshela uthi beka isibhamu phansi. Have you seen you guys have seen these TikToks where there's a petrol attendant. Guy is skinny. And a white person comes and starts acting the fool. Ubona ukuthi na ibhunu liyajima. Ngaka isigora. Ibhunu lithi liyathi. Ubhuti athi guy one avike. Amuthi wanga nyawo phansi bhu. Amshaye amqede. Why? We are superior here. We are faster. This is not me just saying. If you read the science about the physiology of black people, that is why any sport that we do, even so-called white sports, we excel. Why? Because of the melanin in our skin, not even in our skin, but it's actually in our bodies and our brain. Our fine motor skill and speed is superior to anything and anyone on this planet, number one. Number two, we have the ability to see light on a spectrum, the entire spectrum. Abelungu cannot because of the deficiencies of melanin in their eyes. They can only see so much. In terms of hearing, why do you think our music is so wild and so rich? Like you hear so many different things in our music when it's mixed. Why? Because we have the ability to hear certain vibrational frequencies that umlungu cannot access. That's why classical music because they can't hear anything else. We have that ability. Mntomnyama, you are gods. You are goddesses. Ningamakhosi namakhosikazi. Ningayikhohlwa lento le. Niyayilibala ngoba uzithola usemkhukhwini or uzithola in some location somewhere imali ayihlangani in uzibuza ukuthi ngiyigoddess kanjani. Ngena la. Get inside here and meet yourself. Meet who you really are. And I'm telling you, your life will change. Whether you are still stuck where you feel you're stuck, you will not be stuck because moya kuyakhululeka. You will no longer be a mental slave. Once you free yourself from mental slavery, your body will follow where you take it through your mind and your spirit. You can start manifesting the life that you want for yourself. Ungazikhulula la emoyeni. Ukwazi ukuthi ungubani uphahla ubani wena. Who is your God? Who is creator? Once you've defined those things as umuntu, ozalwa nguNtu, uma wethu nguNtu thina. Once you know that, it's game over. So, a word of encouragement to you, a word of deep gratitude and thank you to you guys for everything. that you've done. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I thank you, although it's also for you. But we need this structure so that we can move forward. The structure gives us something to come together around as Abantu, so we can push ahead and move together. And that's why I thank you. But you, Black people, you rock, man. Yes, special. And my deepest manifestation and desire is that each and every African, Black person, Mtanagantu, really gets to know that without having to hear it from me or anyone else. Uzazi ukuthi ungubani wena. Even the way you walk is going to be different. So, Masithokozeni, thank you guys so much. I appreciate your presence.